What's up, Pokemon trainers?
It was a big weekend for Pokemon Go news. We got our first look at some actual gameplay footage, so stay tuned for our full breakdown on this episode of Trainer Tips.
Before we begin, we just wanted to say thank you to everyone who subscribed so far. We couldn't have done this without you guys, and we really appreciate all the support and all the engagement we've been seeing in the comment section.
Niantic CEO John Hank hosted a panel at South by Southwest over the weekend and showed a short gameplay video. In the video, we got a glimpse of the overworld map and a little bit of a longer look at how wild Pokemon encounters will work.
So let's start with the world map. We see a skinned version of San Francisco. The Ivysaur encounter happens just outside of Niantic's headquarters. On the map, we also see a lot of symbols or points of interest. These locations line up with locations used in Ingress.
A lot of people online think this Pokeball symbol represents a fort. If you look closely, beneath the Pokeball you can see the same diamond shape that we see across the rest of the map. It's possible that this Pokeball symbol appears only when you're in range of one of these points of interest.
From messages with Tom Woodhead on Twitter, we've learned that at these points of interest, you can either find crystals or wild Pokemon. This has a lot of people in a bit of a panic, as they already know there's no Ingress portals near their homes.
Keep in mind, Tom admits he doesn't know the Pokemon franchise well, nor does his information seem totally clear. We think Pokemon will be found independent of these points of interest as well. It's also possible that you can find hidden items by visiting these points.
In the background, we see two blue and red markers that likely indicate forts in the area. As we saw in the trailer, there will be at least two teams, one red and one blue. We also see here on the edge of the screen what appears to be a yellow fort marker. Most online speculation assumes the teams will be based on existing teams from the Pokemon series. We think it's more likely that the teams will simply be red, blue, and yellow to coincide with the original first generation games.
At the bottom of the screen, we see a player avatar that matches the character on the screen, and in the trailer, we also saw that each trainer had an avatar that resembled the clothes they were wearing. We can assume from this that there will be trainer customization options. Next to the avatar, we see the trainer's name and level 9. According to Tom Woodhead's messages, you need crystals to level up. We assume that there will be a difference between player level and Pokemon level, and that Pokemon will level up the traditional way through battling and gaining experience.
As for the player level, we believe this function serves as a way of gating late game content. In the main series, wild Pokemon levels increase as you progress, and this works because the game has ways of preventing you from reaching later areas too early. In Pokemon Go, this doesn't work. By using a trainer level system, the game can tailor wild Pokemon to your level, so you don't end up in an area where everything is just too strong for your team. Player level can also serve as an indicator when battling other trainers you encounter. When you come across a trainer in your travels, you'll be able to tell if he is someone you can consider battling.
The last thing we see on the screen is nearby Pokemon in the lower right corner. Here we see that Ivysaur are the only Pokemon nearby, despite there being a Squirtle on the screen. From this, we can infer that the Squirtle is not wild and possibly belongs to the trainer. However, it remains to be seen whether or not we will actually be able to battle wild Pokemon. From another screenshot, we can see silhouettes in the lower corner which appear to be Rattata, Horsey, and Goldeen. Based on this information, we believe nearby Pokemon will appear as silhouettes until you captured them.
I actually think that it's also possible that these Pokemon are silhouettes because they are nearby, but aren't actually in range to battle or capture.
The rest of the demo we saw focused on capturing the wild Ivysaur. Keep in mind that this panel wasn't specifically about Pokemon Go, but rather about the use of AR in games. So anything that we see could just be for demonstration purposes and not necessarily representative of Pokemon Go gameplay.
The game appears to use a phone's gyroscope or compass to orient the player with its Pokemon. In the background we see Niantic's headquarters, though it's unclear whether the game uses the phone's camera or just uses a predetermined background based on the area.
In order to catch a Pokemon, we see that you have to throw a ball at it by swiping your finger on the screen. It's possible to miss, or for the Pokemon to break free, which adds an element of accuracy to catching the Pokemon. It seems like a lot of people online don't like this idea, but to us it adds to the real-world feel of the game. In the anime, trainers always had to be accurate with their Pokeballs. You can't expect to just throw a ball out anywhere and capture the Pokemon you're battling.
After the Ivysaur is caught, we see a post-encounter summary screen that shows the Pokemon, its HP, height, weight, and types. Above the Ivysaur, we see 535 CP. We don't know exactly what CP stands for, but it could be something like capture points. Let us know in the comments below what you think CP could stand for.
Below the Pokemon info, we see 3 empty circles that could contain more information that was purposely left out for this demo. These circles could also possibly be slots for equipable items such as leftovers or berries that we're familiar with from the main series. Keep in mind this battle system most likely won't mirror the system from the main games, and that we could use more equipable items to power up our Pokemon for battles.
Finally, we see crystals at the bottom, which Tom Wood had mentioned would be used to level up your trainer. However, after the Ivysaur was caught, we also saw a screen that showed the amount of XP gained from the encounter. We're not sure exactly what the difference between XP and crystals will be, but it's possible that XP was for the trainer's Pokemon that was used in the battle. So that's all the info that we've got for South by Southwest.
Thank you guys again so much for the support and helping us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and we'll try to answer them in an upcoming video.
And if you guys happen to miss out on any of our previous episodes, make sure to check them out here.
Later.